Hi, I wanted to talk about eating on vacation while on a GLP1, all the food choices, like the fact that I bring my breakfast food with me, the fact that I eat whatever I want. I might even order a cocktail. It's just all the things. I think, people think you have to restrict. People think they want to not take the shot and go crazy. But I just want to talk about that we are just living real life, and this is what it's like. You learn to live while you're both losing weight, and then hopefully when you're in maintenance, to just live your life, enjoy your life. Food is part of life. It takes food to live, and I just want to talk about it. Hi. Anyway, I'm Elisa, and this is Food Noise Be Gone. Thank you so much for watching, and welcome back to episode 2. Please remember to subscribe, like, leave a comment. We are so happy you are here with us today and with me. I want to thank anyone who is watching or subscribed. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I don't care if there's only one of you, there's 5 of you, there's 10, or if there were thousands, possibly in the future. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you get some value out of this. Anyway, I should pause. I am not a doctor. I'm just a patient. I am just sharing with you my experience. Please discuss with your doctor, your dietitian, your nutritionist, whoever you would discuss your choices with. And I'm going to talk about, like I said, vacation on a GLP. What I bring with me, what do I order, how much do I eat. I'll show some pictures of what I ordered on my recent vacation in Hawaii. I've been doing this for basically the last year, everything I'm talking about it, so it's tried and true, and I imagine I can do this pretty much for the rest of my life, even once I reach goal weight and in maintenance. I'm going to talk about how much we eat. I'll give you some before or after pictures. You can see my after plate. I had to learn not to clean my plate. Do I track calories and macros while I'm on vacation? I do at home, always track. So we'll talk about that. I'll maybe show some examples. How do I track? Because you don't know when you go out everything that they serve you. Some places might give you net calories, but they don't give you a breakdown to put into MyFitnessPal. And heaven knows those apps with AI are kind of swags at best. So I'll talk about that, and again, I'll give some examples of how I do it. And then I'll just kind of talk about how to enjoy yourself on vacation and hopefully show some fun shots. We might have a background here. I haven't chosen the background for this episode yet, but we might see some shots of Hawaii back there. Anyway, why don't I just get into it? The first thing I'm just going to start with, the first thing I bring with me is my shot. I've never once when I've traveled for longer than a week or over my shot day, which is always Thursday, I've never even considered not taking my shot. I see people debate that, ask online in all those groups. Should I take my shot? Should I skip my shot so I can enjoy the holiday or enjoy a vacation? I'm like, I personally, for me, food noise for me is the pantry surfing, is the kitchen surfing, is the counter surfing. It's getting that little more second, so not big, huge seconds, going back for seconds, but getting that just a little bit more, and just overeating that way, kind of unconsciously. So the medication for me allows me to eat, but not eat in excess or not eat unconsciously. So to me, having the medication as, in some ways, that safety net that controls the whatever the physiology in me or psychology or whatever in me that stops me from being unconscious with my intake of food. It gives me that space. Take your medicine on vacation. I can understand if perhaps you got a lot of side effects that you might not want to, but once you have gotten to a stable dose, whatever that dose is, I wouldn't suggest increasing your dose the minute you go on vacation or the week before you go on vacation. Make sure you're on a stable dose to get you through time away. That would be my biggest suggestion. And then the shot is supposed to help regulate how you live. And so how I live is I want to be able to travel and have fun And the Zepbound GLP helps me do that. It helps me live a life where I'm able to be on this weight loss journey. We just hit 90 pounds down. In episode 1, we just gotten under 200. So yeah, I take the shot with me. It's my number one thing. I have some little things where you can just put, I use the pens, so you can just put the pen in there if you want to put an ice pack in there. And usually wherever I go, I would have somewhere to put it in the refrigerator. But honestly, the medication's okay for like 21 days out of the fridge. But whatever your pharmacist or doctor says is what you should do. Okay. So back to it. I always bring my shot with me. Absolutely. The second thing I bring with me when I travel, since being on a GLP, is I bring breakfast. When I say I bring breakfast, you're probably like, well, you can't bring bacon and eggs. I bring my oatmeal. I have this one Better Oats brand. A little picture here. It's 100 calories a packet. I believe it also has flaxseed in it, perhaps, but it's a pretty good instant oatmeal that's, I think, relatively healthy. I bring some PB Fit to add protein and bulk to the oatmeal to make it filling. I bring chia seeds. You can just add hot water chia seeds. They gel right up. I mix them in with my oatmeal after I heat it up. If I'm somewhere where I can, I purchase some egg whites, and I did that in Hawaii. We had a condo, so I was able to get a little pint of egg whites. I also, if I can, if I'm checking luggage, I bring my Core Power Fairlife Elite. We'll show that. Up here, I get the vanilla flavor. It's what I add to my coffee. I might add that to the oatmeal as well, either while it's cooking or afterwards, because I like my oatmeal milky. I also, if I'm somewhere where I can buy fruit, I either get fresh or frozen fruit. While I was in Hawaii, I got some frozen mixed berries. I love berries. At home, I get blueberries. So, having fruit of some way, it could be any fruit, to be honest. Berries are super healthy, and that's my personal choice that fits into my diet. They have good fiber, but fruit is always a great thing to have, and it's nice to have a little something to also add some volume to the oatmeal. And then at work, I usually take with me or have at home little turkey sausages. They're 60 calories a piece. Didn't have those in Hawaii, but I was like, you know what? This girl loves bacon. You have to watch your fat a little bit, especially on a GLP, so you don't get a upset stomach. But as long as it's not a change in dose to my current GLP, I can eat bacon okay, especially just 1 or 2 pieces. So I got bacon while we were in Hawaii. Again, we had a condo, so I could just make that up. We were there for 9 days, and 7 of those 9 days, I did make my own breakfast at the condo. The other couple days, one day, I didn't really eat breakfast. We were going to go out to a luau, which I'll talk in a little bit about in a little bit. But other days, it was great to start the day out. I mean, I even took breakfast to Coachella with me. Granted, we stayed at the Marriott in Palm Springs, Indio, but the taking breakfast, taking some snacks, taking things with you just helped really ground my days in Hawaii and at all my other trips or throughout the year, whether I'd go to visit family in Denver, whether we're going to Coachella, Palm Springs, LA, wherever we've gone, to Montana. I bring what I'm going to talk about here. I also bring snacks. I bring beef jerky. I bring puff bars. I bring other protein bars that I might have. I bring granola. I might bring crackers. I have some rye crisp crackers. I'll show here. I might bring packets of tuna. Just things to have quick on hand, not necessarily either snacks or a quick meal in case I'm somewhere where I don't have access to something. I'll show, maybe if I can find one, I'll show a picture from a suitcase. It usually fills about 1/3 of a large suitcase, or about half of one side will be filled, spread out. I'll spread out with all the different stuff I'm taking. I'll take supplements. with me, like magnesium, fiber, collagen. I like to put collagen in my coffee. So like I said, I bring that. Or I bring prunes with me as well. What else? Oh, electrolytes. I'll bring some Gatorade, maybe even some Crystal Lights, not electrolytes. I might bring a bottle with me, or I pick up a bottle wherever I'm at. I did get a nice bottle from Hawaii, from the Hawaii Starbucks as a souvenir. So, yeah, it's good to have supplements. I also brought some creatine with me this last time since I'm going to the gym more and working out. It's nice to have a creatine supplement that, you know, you can add in every other day, a few times a week. I don't necessarily take it daily, but, you know, you do what fits and what kind of you and your medical providers think is appropriate. So everybody should be thoughtful of taking anything more than a multivitamin and go from there. But yeah, those are the things I bring with me. So anyway, so the next thing I want to talk about is how I order. Now, first of all, you don't always get to order. Like I did just choose from like a buffet at the luau we went to for my birthday. And what I tried to choose a lot of protein forward items, a lot of fresh whole foods. In fact, that's what ChatGPT told me. They're like, oh, you chose a lot of whole foods. And I think that's just been, after having been on it for almost a year on the GLP, you learn to choose foods that both sit well with you and also that fit well within your healthier diet. So yeah, so I chose a lot of things. I filled my plate more or less. I'll give you a picture here, and but I didn't eat everything. Now, the luau, I didn't necessarily take a before and after, but I did take a before and after of a couple of my meals. I'll share those, so you can kind of see that a big trick to how I eventually did things is I didn't necessarily finish, but I'll talk some more about that in a little bit. So first, what do I order? Like I said, I'm choosing more whole foods. I'm choosing more protein and vegetables and fruit. So I try to go with that. I might add some other things if they look really good. I'll go ahead and at least add other things to try. I might even order a cocktail and definitely take a picture and have a few sips. But sometimes those have a lot of sugar, so I just try to moderate with that. I'll use ChatGPT. If I look at the menu and nothing like really jumps out at me, on vacation there's usually something really good that you want, but now and then I used it at least a couple times and it suggested the kampachi, which is a white fish, which is actually very delicious. So I very much recommend kampachi now. I'd never heard of it before. So yeah, so I use ChatGPT. I take a picture of the menu and then it's like, oh, I would suggest this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 and stack rank that like healthiest or best choices. And it would even suggest swaps or suggest ways to ask for something to be cooked. So that's another good option. Definitely look to sub things. Sometimes I'll see that something can be subbed as salad for fries and I'll switch that, especially if my calories for the day don't really allow for fries. But if I really want fries, I'll order fries and I'll just eat a smaller portion. I definitely did like fish tacos. There was definitely a lot of fish and beef when we were in Hawaii because they obviously have great fresh fish. They also, locally on the big island of Hawaii where we were, have beef. So you could get some really good cuts of beef, especially I think that's what we got when we went to this fancy restaurant. I'll put the name of it here.
Oh,
Merriman's. So we went to a fancy restaurant called Merriman's. It's very well rated. It has, I believe, has had Michelin ratings in the past, or maybe Manta had the Michelin ratings. I'm not sure. We went to Manta at Mauna Kea Hotel. That was fabulous. That was the last night we were there. And then we went to Merriman's earlier. Those are probably the two best fancy meals that we had, but otherwise we had lots of great traditional food at the luau, and we had fish tacos at a couple different restaurants, and my husband had burgers a few times and big steaks. So yeah, it was great food and I enjoyed all of it. I didn't eat all of it. I ate some of everything, and that was a big thing for me. I mean, we were doing a lot of activity and exercise. So it was just kind of trying to maintain my lifestyle overall while still experiencing the island. It was the first time we'd had a really big vacation in that way since Coachella. That was very early in my journey. So this was one where I felt like I was very comfortable in where I was in my journey, and I knew my routine. I'd done this for, like I said, like a year, gone on like half a dozen different trips, and so I knew how to do it. And so that's really kind of why I wanted to share, is like, don't be scared of traveling. Honestly, traveling set me really well up for the holidays as well. I was able to, like, I knew how to eat when I was away from home. So I traveled one holiday I made food for us here. But I was able to moderate, right? Have some pumpkin pie, but not a big piece. So yeah, there was that. Anyway, so yeah, I ordered kampachi, I ordered steak. I always made sure there was like some vegetables if possible. We ate leftovers. I like at Merriman's. I took only half of that meal, which was so good, and I ate the other half one of the nights that we ate in at the condo. So I was able to like keep that and carry out and actually enjoy the meal all over again a few days later. So anyway, that's really the trick. Is there is no trick. I try everything. I don't clean my plate. I leave stuff on the plate. I'll try to share that. I just think about, how hungry am I? How many calories do I have in my budget? Because I do try to keep track on that. Speaking of which, we should talk about it. Do I track calories and macros while I'm on vacation? It's not that easy to do. You don't have a breakdown, and you don't know all the ingredients. You don't know if they use a half a pound of butter in what they're serving. So what I try to do is I try to use my best estimate. I might use ChatGPT to help me figure it out. My FitnessPal has an AI feature. It's so, but ChatGPT is pretty good, and it will even tell you how to enter it in my FitnessPal. So yeah, I use that to take a picture before, and I take a picture after. So before and after, and it would be like, enter about this much, and I would either agree or not agree with it. I might add in something that it didn't see. But yeah, I do my best. I'm more worried about the net calories because I am still trying to be in a deficit. I do know I'm being active, but I do not take my activity away from my calories in. I stay right around 1,800 calories. It's like the high 1700s, but I probably ended up right around like 1790, 1,800 calories pretty much the whole trip. Maybe I'll put my estimate of how many calories I averaged over the 9 days we were there. So I really try to anchor to calories. Macros are kind of a nice to know and have, but I'm not going to have a dessert or a couple bites of dessert because I'm over my carbohydrates. I'm going to enjoy and taste everything and really just try to anchor to the calories. But it's nice to know if you're kind of staying within or being extremely one way or the other, because if you have more carbs or more sodium, you're probably going to retain some water. That's the other thing. I do also take a little travel scale. It's about this big. It's by Renpho. I take the travel scale with me. It's relatively lightweight and small to fit in your luggage. You can even fit it in like your carry-on, like it fits in my camera bag if I can't fit it in actual luggage. And I weigh myself every day. It's funny because I would take my weight and all of the stats about my nutrition and about all my activity, and I've started doing that just before vacation a few times, but I did it on vacation pretty steady, and then I've been doing it since I got back from vacation. So I let ChatGPT analyze everything. Anyway, it's a little bit of a side note, but yeah, I do track my calories. I mean, they're estimates, they're not perfect, but it gives me the added guardrail. The medication, GLP, gives me the space. But I don't, I haven't gone to the highest dose. I'm only on the second level 5 milligram dose of Zepbound. And what I always like to say, like I said earlier, is that it gives me the space so I can make the decision, all the healthier decisions, and that I'm not as like unconsciously snacky. So it gives me that space, but I still need to understand my guardrails, and tracking and weighing myself give me those guardrails. And that's what works for me. Some people it would drive crazy. They hate weighing themselves. They hate tracking calories. So everybody, just like I say, talk to your doctor about any medical advice. You have to look at what works for you. And if what works for you is having the GLP really control your appetite more aggressively, that is a choice and something you would work on with your doctor and dietitian and whatnot. For me, I like it just to give me enough space to make those decisions and really kind of back up my somewhat limited willpower, and control my appetite, not wipe it out. I like to have an appetite. I like to enjoy food. I like to do all the things because we do need food to live. So I just don't want to have to live to eat, or maybe, I don't know, whichever the one that's more positive, that's the one that I recommend. Anyway, just take swags, just guess. You can kind of, there's little things that help you. And honestly, the AI now, ChatGPT, the AI in MyFitnessPal and other apps, they tell you about how much is on your plate. So if I try to do it without keeping track, I honestly still think I would overeat. I would just eat for a longer period of time and not realize I need something to tell me that I've had enough besides just my stomach, because it's not all based on my actual appetite. Some of it's just based on my mental state. So that's what helps. It just helps to have guardrails. So I have my MyFitnessPal as a tool and my GLP as a tool, and they work together for me. So that's really how I do it. It's really, there is no magic here. I just enjoy myself, track. I do not go crazy. I take my GLP with me. I track things. I take my scale. So I take all the things. I take the food. I take the GLP. I take the scale. I take my phone. I do all the things that I do at home, really, but on vacation. And I do them in a way that makes sense. I take pictures of my food if I don't want to be typing it in, or if we're not within, like, let's say, range, I just take a picture and then I can log it later before I go to bed. So that's what I do. I hope this makes sense. I hope someone can be like a little like less whatever of what should I do. It's all just how you want to live. You should enjoy yourself. You don't need to cheat. There's no cheating. It's all just food. It's just food at home. It's just food on vacation. There's no bad food. There's just maybe too much food or not enough food. You need to eat. Eating is just part of how we as humans exist. So, yeah. Enjoy your vacation. I loved Hawaii. The food was fantastic. I had a great time. The food was part of having the great time, and I think that's okay. It wasn't a food vacation, but food is part of our vacation. It's part of one of the activities we do. We go out to eat. So anyway, that's my best advice is, don't go crazy. Just enjoy yourself. Have a bite of that chocolate lava cake. It's delicious, I promise. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me for episode 2 of Food Noise Be Gone. Remember to subscribe, like, comments. There will be another episode 3 next Saturday. I hope you continue to join me and subscribe. I hope I can help anyone that has questions about what it's like to be on this journey. This is really I feel like GLP has given us the opportunity to live. So we'll be talking about tons of other topics. I might talk to some people on here. I just talked to someone else on their podcast today, so hopefully we'll talk more about that later. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Peace.